What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are talking about this nonsensical article from Paul Tassi over on Forbes, because Paul doesn't seem to understand what's the problem with The Last of Us Part 2. Paul, someone that covers video games and pop culture for Forbes, has never mentioned the blatant copyright abuse from Naughty Dog, from Musso TNT Limited on behalf of Sony and Naughty Dog. Not once has Forbes or any other mainstream publication covered these stories, and he is confused. Paul is confused. What is going on? Why does everyone criticize Naughty Dog? Probably has something to do with the fact that you don't pay attention to anything going on outside of your little bubble, Paul. Maybe that has something to do with it. But let's look at this nonsensical article from Paul Tassi. The Last of Us Part 2. What's the problem here exactly? Well, like many people, I can't talk the whole video like that. Well, like many people, I spent most of yesterday diving into The Last of Us Part 2, a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, and an experience I've been waiting years for. I don't have a problem with any of that. I totally understand your perspective. Big fan of the first Last of Us, as many others, millions of others are huge fans of the first Last of Us game. That's exactly the point, Paul. Let's continue. He then says, between plot leaks, ripped cutscenes, and controversy around certain characters, I knew a war was brewing, and one has indeed arrived. Interestingly enough, Paul continues to ignore the blatant copyright abuse from Sony, Naughty Dog, and Musso. While The Last of Us Part 2 has a best games of generation level critic score of 95 on Metacritic, it is getting absurdly obviously bombed in the user score department, where it sits at 3.4 out of 10 with 24,000 reviews. For context, the entire lifespan of The Last of Us 1 generated over 9,000 user reviews. It's been 36 hours for The Last of Us Part 2. So what the hell is going on? Why are some people so mad about the game? And there you see the clips from Metacritic. After playing for around 12 hours or so, I can only comment on what appears to be the first half if the 20 to 30 hour reports of total playtime are true. And yet, I remain confused, and simultaneously not very confused. As a fan of the original, I am very much liking this one as well. Everything I've loved about the first game is present here. There are some of the most beautiful and most detailed environments I have ever seen in a video game. The performance capture and the writing is excellent, and the story swings between brutal lows and genuinely sweet highs. If there's anything to complain about, many of the issues I had with the first game are still present here. I think the clickers infected are poorly realized. So he's just going through blah 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 blah. So he's just basically saying, like, it's based, I'm enjoying it, so what's the problem? So what's up? I have to go into spoiler territory here a bit, because it's more or less impossible to talk about the game without mentioning what is effectively the entire driving force behind the plot. So turn back now, yada yada yada. The death. Okay, so he's bringing up Joel's death. Okay, that is definitely one of the reasons for the outrage, Paul. That's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons of the outrage, but not the death in isolation, not the fact that Joel died. That is not the problem here, Paul. That is not the problem, okay? He says, it is, of course, a shocking moment. It is also not terribly surprising if you ask me. No one is surprised that Joel died, Paul. No one is surprised that Joel died. Yes, I heard the leaks, but well before that ever happened, the first trailer showed that Ellie was on a warpath, out to get revenge. Yeah, interestingly enough, out to get revenge. From that first moment, it seemed pretty clear to me it was likely that some group had killed Joel. Yeah, again, that's not the problem, okay? I simply disagree with the notion that killing character you like is automatically bad for the story decision. Not the problem, Paul. Not the problem at all. So he is still not understanding what's going on here. Number 2, the agenda. Let me give you a helpful hint. If your negative review of The Last of Us 2, based on anywhere from 0 to 30 hours of playtime, includes the word agenda, feminism, SJW, woke, pandering, or political correctness, you have lost this argument. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you for telling other people that everything they say is irrelevant because you have your head in the sand. You live in a protected bubble because you are the access media, and you are here to tell us that no, your argument is wrong, you are wrong, and everything that you believe is wrong. So, I mean, that kind of gives you the gist of it. He never mentions any of the copyright abuse. Now, is the copyright abuse the only problem with the game? Absolutely not, but it is a very powerful driving force behind why so many people are very, very angry with Naughty Dog and Sony over this game. It's a huge problem when people across YouTube, people across Twitter, people across Reddit were being banned for opinions and memes. Opinions and memes. Imagine having your channel struck over opinions. I don't have to imagine it because it happened to me. Giving an opinion that Naughty Dog didn't like, therefore my channel got a strike. Imagine having your Twitter account suspended over memes. I don't have to imagine it because it happened to me. Because apparently a Scott Steiner Last of Us Part 2 meme is copyright claimed by Musso, meaning I broke the copyright laws, even though that is absolutely incorrect. But when you have a company like Naughty Dog using a shitty company like Musso to false flag people, that is pushing a lot of the anger. And it didn't just happen to me. It didn't just happen to bigger channels. It didn't just happen to medium channels. It didn't happen to smaller channels. It happened to all types of channels. They even DMCA'd their own account. That's how out of control this thing was. Did Paul Tassi talk about it? No. There was another blue check mark on Forbes that I got into an argument with on Twitter about this too. I can't remember his name. But he's someone that covers gaming news for Forbes, yet he never mentioned any of the copyright abuse. And then here's Paul Tassi, very confused. Now, again, I've complained a lot about the copyright abuse, and it is a huge problem. But then let's get into the situation with Joel. The fact that Joel died is not the problem. That is not the issue. The issue is how it all happened, how Joel was not even consistent with himself, how early it happened for the reasons it happened, and how it wasn't even paid off. None of it even mattered. His death wasn't even paid off. It was not meant for story reasons. That is the problem. Killing a popular character off is not an issue. But when you don't respect that character based on how that character, how his development got us to that point, and you just throw it all out the window because you're listening to Anita Sarkeesian's talking points, that is a huge problem. Then you make people play as the character that killed Joel, and then eventually that character, the very unlikable character that it is, you still don't get revenge on her? So what was the point? So there's a lot of problems here. There's a lot of problems. Paul, I forgot his name for a minute. There's a lot of problems, Paul. And you are missing the point on all of them. And you have your head in the sand over the copyright abuse. That is your fault. You live in your protected blue check mark access media world. And people are sick of people like you. Fans are sick of people like you who will not look at everything going on. You look at things through your little warped tunnel vision. And you wonder why people don't respect your opinion anymore. It is unbelievable, but it is also hilarious. I also saw one of my favorite channels, Game Explain. I love Game Explain so much. They probably hate my guts. That's fine. But I love Game Explain. I've been a fan of them for a long time, and they just recently had the biggest shill of them all, Greg Miller, on their channel to have a spoiler discussion about The Last of Us 2. Got ratioed. I mean, last time I looked at it, it was the dislikes. The dislikes were negative as hell. And that's what happens when you bring someone like Greg Miller. I used to watch Greg Miller at IGN, but my gosh, this guy has sold out completely. Like, you can't get him to criticize anything. Unless, of course, he's paid to criticize it. That's really all it comes down to. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Forbes clearly not paying attention to anything going on. But if you do want to go to a website that gives opinions, regardless if they're popular or not, people don't automatically agree with me, you can go to geeksandgamers.com. We're going to have a Last of Us Part 2 review up on the website. Not written by me, not written by anyone on the YouTube side, but Mike is going to write a review. I don't know if his review is going to be positive or negative. I have no idea. I know he's a big fan of the first Last of Us game, and I know he did not pay attention to any of the spoilers, and I know that he views everything differently than I do. So he may give it a positive review, and if he does, that is his right, and I fully stand by him because I don't have my head in the sand like Paul Tassi of Forbes. But anyway, go check out geeksandgamers.com, check out the forums, create yourself an account, jump in the forums, and if you are willing, please consider supporting us for $10 a month in the premium side. Premium membership that's going to get you exclusive access. We're working on a lot of different perks that will be added to that $10 a month. So it's something that I want to continue to, give back to everyone that's supporting us. I do greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the forums. Have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Solo lost money. Raylos are weird. Fuck Naughty Dog. And we will talk to you later.